It all started with a question. Would it be feasible to develop a tool for assessing performance of a country's tax administration system? After all, the Public Expenditure Financial Accountability Program, PFA, has proven successful in assessing public financial management. Why not a tax administration system? Like all government agencies, tax administrations in countries of all income levels face strong public demands for efficient service delivery, operational accountability, and transparency. And so it began in 2011 with a feasibility study, which concluded that it would not only be feasible, but also desirable to develop a tool for assessing the relative performance of tax administrations and offering insights into reform priorities.
And we initiated the process in early 2012, developing the first initial kind of concept framework for developing a tool, a PFA-like tool, and we start engaging with some donors. And we have a very positive response.
I think we have had a very productive period for those 2 years. TADAT was also the inspiration, or the model for TADAT was PFA. So I think it's been a great help for us to have PFA on the steering committee and to be able to discuss and learn from experiences from the PFA tool.
I think what the IMF has done very well is to go out to other stakeholders and to discuss it widely and to develop it gradually and with other stakeholders and also with developing countries. And that is how we have come to where we are today.
I think from that time on a lot has happened. The TADAT instrument developed quite well. We had the field guide being prepared. We had a lot of consultations amongst ourselves in the steering committee and also in the technical advisory group.
The Technical Advisory Group brought together experts from around the world to lend their knowledge and professional experience in the design and implementation of the tool. The core design principles of TADAT laid the foundation to what later would become the field guide.
We start involving regional organization of tax administrators, CEAT, IOTA, ATAF, but also specific tax administrations in order to have a development that was really taking the experience from people in the current practice of tax administration. And we also engage our colleague from the World Bank. So we created a community of experts to support the development of this tool.
A TADAT assessment focuses on outcomes rather than inputs or processes. The 9 performance outcome areas, POAs, are built up from indicators, which are constructed from detailed dimensions. A score between A and D is given for each dimension, which then gives rise to the score for each indicator. The POAs themselves are not scored, but they are interconnected.
It was not like developing some basic or simplistic approaches to tax administration. We were in the process of developing a framework for diagnostic the tax administration system in a country with all the complexities that this entails. We are talking about in tax administration in the world organizations that are quite large. This organization are in charge of safeguarding very significant amount of revenues, several point of GDPs in any countries. So tax administration system is among the largest organization in a country. So that was a big challenge to realize that we had to develop a comprehensive system that also can be seen as a tool that everybody could use.
In February of 2014, TADAT was formally launched during an official event hosted by the IMF. The international community and tax experts welcomed it. The steering committee, comprised of representatives from international partners, set to translate the vision into reality. Tasks ahead included delivering pilot assessments in various environments, setting up a system for training and accrediting TADAT assessors, and rigorously testing and refining the field guide. A TADAT secretariat was created within, but at arm's length from the IMF to carry out this work. A lot of effort went into designing a tool that has wide application and longevity.
This is a universal tool. Countries face challenges in revenue administration. In fact, during the crisis, for example, even very modern tax administrations faced significant challenges. Some areas could be very strong, sometimes some other area could be weak, etc. So the TADAT framework, because it's focused on the performance outcome areas we're expecting in a tax administration system, is applicable to all countries, definitely.
The TADAT framework has been tested in depth through pilot assessments around the world in countries of all income levels, which confirmed that the methodology was solid. It was also becoming clear that TADAT was a much-needed and timely tool.
There was a growing interest among donors and organizations to work on tax issues. So having this tool to assess the strengths and weaknesses in a tax administration is a great help. And also, it's also a way to communicate and to have a dialogue with the recipient institution, which is it's absolutely essential to when designing a technical assistance program.
TADAT comes in the right moment, and we hope that it will be, at least for the European Commission, it will be an important tool that we will use in our support to developing countries.
If we look now back at the Addis conference also in July and see how much, and the whole BEPS process at the OECD, and how much interest increased domestic resource mobilization is getting these days, then we can be proud that we were in 2013, we had the vision to develop an instrument like TADAT, and so it's now ready to go, and the timing is just perfect, I think. It couldn't be better.
Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool, TADAT, is being released for global use on November 18, 2015.